Hello from Warsaw, Poland. Today is my turn to share with you my favorite Judith Kerr's book, which is One Night in the Zoo. This book is so suitable to close our Judith Kerr month because in the already mentioned lovely book that I do recommend to all teachers, Judith Kerr's Creatures, it appears in the last section, The Last Years. And let me read her words to you. As she says, for a year or so after Tom died, her husband, I couldn't work. It is difficult after a lifetime of being happily married to go back to being on one's own. I missed him all the time. But strangely, having been so happy helped. And this wonderful thought that she shares with us that is so appropriate on this Thanksgiving week. She says, I had all that. How can I complain? Wonderful, just as Judith Kerr. So one night in the zoo, it's a rhyming book, it's a counting book that I used with my students in two different ways. With younger students, I started by showing them the last page in the book, and it says, the keeper and his trusty crew found all the animals back on view, excepting only one or two. They look so tired, he said, all through that moonlit night. What did they do? But nobody knew. And before I read it to children, I asked them to look carefully at the page and find what is unusual about it. And children immediately spotted that what is unusual, that it's morning, the zookeepers walk around with baskets full of food, and all the animals are asleep. And those kids who have pets, they immediately share the experience that usually animals in the morning demand food. But these animals are fast asleep. So we went to the first page this time, and I showed them the page and read on a board this sentence. One magical moonlit night in the zoo. And I asked students to prepare a piece of paper with 10 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And think about animals and their naughty behavior on this moonlit night in the zoo. I said that I can give them a little hand, telling that animals acted in 10 groups. One animal was on its own, while there was a group of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I asked students to write what the animals actually were up to. What is very nice about this activity is that some kids can write, while others, if they don't feel confident, they can just draw and share orally their ideas. So this let us differentiate the final product a bit and also help students to express themselves freely. I started by providing each table with around 30 different action verbs, so students could revise the vocabulary they would need to write sentences. And it worked really, really well. I worked with students aged 8, 9 this way. And they produce very interesting stories. And then, of course, after that, I shared the book. It says, one magical moonlit night in the zoo, an elephant jumped in the air and flew, but nobody knew. Then a crocodile and a kangaroo set off on a bicycle made for two, and 3 lions did tricks which astonished Gnu, but nobody knew. 4 bears cook a squid, and so on and so on. You can share the book, which is like a song. It's got music, it's got poetry. It's absolutely wonderful to work with both younger and a bit older students. With students aged 11, I performed a different activity. We read a book, and then I asked them to think about a magical moonlit night and what could have happened, but trying to keep the rhyme. So they worked with dictionaries, they worked with the internet, trying to find rhyming words. And after having a bank of rhyming words, they wrote their poems. Let me share one by Marisha. One fantastic night in the garden, a tree kicked a ball, a flower played with a doll, and I watched them all. Mice became so tall, deer turned so small, bush hit the wall, and I watched them all. Grass covered the wall, stars fell into a bowl, monkeys said, "Lol," and I watched them all. I would like to say that I discovered this book after Judith Kerr's death, because before that I used the Tiger Who Came to Tea. I used the Mock series extensively in many different ways. But this book I discovered later when I started reading and discovering about Judith Kerr a bit more. So I do recommend this book to all teachers. Thank you very much, and see you next month.